been waiting. Will you join me?
Hello, welcome to Star Wars. My name's Phill, of course. I'm joined, as usual, by Matt and Robin. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
I'm all right, dude. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm ready to chat some Mandalorian news. Because, of course, we've had the release date announced, October 30th. Oh, I'm waiting now for the copyright strike.
Was that what?
Was that how
I have an orchestra. John Williams lives in my room.
we have a Williams John here, if that helps in terms of Robin. But
that might be the one that's living in my room.
No, you know if I was living in your room.
You had to see the hair; it would fill 3/4 of the room. To be fair, I can't really sort my beard now; fills up 3/4 of my room, so it's absolutely fine. But yes, we had the release date announced recently, which is October 30th. But we have no trailer, no nothing until before we came on air today. Entertainment Weekly dropped a lovely article, kind of showing us a few little bits and pieces, and kind of doing an interview with Jon Favreau. And of course, Matt immediately just posted it in the chat, just going, "I have just lost it at this." Although after his rather annoying troll the night before.
Yeah,
I lost it because there was that trailer that came up, which was the Rick Astley one. It had all this footage, and it looks so legitimate. Like it's a really well done trolling thing.
Had I not already seen that before?
Oh, see, I'd not. And the camera panned, and you saw the Sarlacc pit, and I sat in my lounge going, "Oh, I'm gonna rip into Phill," and like my hairs were on end, and it was Boba, and I was just like, "Ah, I lost my stuff." And then Robin's like, "I've seen it before."
Yeah, for a second I was like, "Oh my god, they're actually doing it." And then I saw the bit of Boba moving. I was like, "Hang on, I've seen this before a couple of minutes ago."
Yeah, the thing that gave it away was Rick Astley. It's Rick Astley gave it away. Let's be honest.
Really?
But before that, I was thinking, "Hang on, I've seen this as a fan film a couple of years ago."
Yeah. No, I've seen it. I was waiting for it, but yes. So Matt lost it at the fake trailer, but then so we have the legitimate article that's been popped up today. Well, of course, no trailer. Oh yeah, but still,
a trailer, and
be coming soon though.
Yeah, but at least we still have new images of Baby Yoda.
We do get a trailer for June tomorrow. That's pretty exciting.
We do, yes. And of course, Oscar Isaac, who played Poe Dameron's in that.
But importantly, it's not Mandalorian.
No, it's not. But it's Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, true.
It is indeed. So, who wants to take us kind of through what was in the article? Actually, Matt, I'm going to put it to you. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, it was pictures from Entertainment Weekly. Can we have them? Can I give a rundown of this? Can I commentary this? Right.
Of course.
Pull up the first picture, Phill. This is going to be if Matt Berry did. Oh, Yoda!
Mando!
Phill, where are my pictures at?
I'm going to be going through your pictures. Like, don't get me wrong. I've got them all here. They're on the side.
See them. Can you put one on the screen?
They are on the screen.
They are on screen, Matt.
Oh, I can't see them.
I can clearly see them.
Hang on. I'm going to watch us from Facebook so I can see them. I don't know why I can't see them.
There's going to be a delay, but it's fine. We'll work through it.
Okay, Phill, right. I'm kind of watching myself at the same time. Okay, so the first picture, right, is Mandalorian, Cara Dune, and Carl Weathers. Because he's thank you, the dude from Predator. And what we can see is the three of them stood in what looks like a photo studio, which I think is to take photos for the Mandalorian and Child 2021 calendar, in which the plotline is going to be Mando does a bit of casual modeling to raise funds to send the child to college.
No, this is the casual modeling photo.
That's all I can garner from that one. Next question, please, Phill. I'm just playing catch up. This is really awkward.
Yeah, this thing. There is a slight delay, so you're gonna this is Mr.
February from said calendar. He casually got that gangster lean. Looks to be Mos Eisley or Desert Planet. I don't know. But you've got the child in the background looking freaking adorable. And really, we know the calendar should just be the child. This is pre-college. I don't know what he's looking at. It looks good, though. Look at him.
It does appear, though, to be, especially when you open this particular picture, it does look to be Tatooine, which I am kind of intrigued about why they are returning. I'm not too enthused if they are, purely because I don't like the...
They're going to go back to that sniper and the dude with the spurs.
But the gunsling was the worst episode in season 1 by a country mile.
Yes, but
speaking of country miles, here's the Mandalorian demonstrating the new scooter bike from Endor Industries. The Ewoks moved into the automotive industry, much like Detroit in the late 70s. And what we've got going on, he looks to also be on Tatooine for this one. Speeder bike looks knackered. That's not one we've seen before, is it? It's got
no.
As far as I can tell, no.
Longer spokes on it. It looks pretty cool. The child is chilling in his baby bag there. That's really cool. I'm hoping this isn't followed by him punching it.
Yeah, we don't want that anymore. No more punching Baby Yoda.
That's one of my favorite moments from season 1, though. I've got to be honest.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's one of mine as well.
Coming and just wrecking them.
Yeah.
So here we go. It's the child. He's in a sack. He's clearly being delivered somewhere, or I don't know. All right. So here's Carl Weathers or Grief Cargo. I don't know. He's really cool. He's got almost a cloak on. Those look like cloak hooks or pins on him. Could be a picture from Game of Thrones. He might appear in a prequel season to that. Was his beard that grey in season 1?
No, it was not.
They've aged him. He was dyeing his beard in season 1.
Yeah, he's just giving up on dyeing his beard.
Mr. April.
Still dyeing the hair, but not dyeing
the Galactic Hotties calendar 2021. So they've aged him. There's got to be a time jump, right? Look how grey he is.
Very much potentially. I mean, don't forget, Carl Weathers is
72.
70. Yeah,
Stone Cold Legend. He's gonna be like Mando, you son of a bitch. But yeah, so that's cool, man. The costume's cool. He looks like he's in that canteen again.
Very
where he was in season 1 when we first met him. Just looking at that door. It looks like a time jump. I'm okay with the time jump. I think that'll be a really sensible way to tell the story.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, so you're going to catch up in just a second, but the person I want to talk about most, of course, is Giancarlo Esposito, a.k.a. Moff Gideon, and I cannot wait to see more about him in season 2. Yes. Oh, yeah.
So his mustache is still on point. All right, he's clearly kept up his shape. So whereas Grief has let it go grey, he's a bit more au natural. Gideon is kept it sharp. He's kept it really sharp. This doesn't really tell us a lot. He could be Mr. September or something. People are going back to school. They don't really care about September very much.
Hold on. Now, is it just me and my imagination running wild, or does that background kind of look a bit like a Star Destroyer?
The funny thing you say that in the article, which I'm going to go into in more depth, it does say that he's in charge of a much larger ship.
Yes. And also, if you remember way back when they released that picture of Lucas and the baby, the child, in the background, there was a window that looked a bit like a Star Destroyer window.
Very reminiscent of it, yeah. So it's
and when we first met him, in his hologram, he was standing up, which you can't really do that well in a TIE fighter.
I've never tried.
Yeah, they're pretty crap things. They do have ejector seats, though. Surprisingly, though people for a long time didn't think they did. And of course, finally, we're going to move on to one of the last pictures, which is.
Is this going to make my heart melt?
Yes, it's Cara Dune.
Yeah, it's just Cara Dune being hot.
Said my heart melt. It's not. Look at her. How cool is she? She's still got a tattoo going on. She also looks like she's on.
Well, tattoos don't go away, Matt. You should know this. We both have them.
I mean, you can get them lasered off.
You can.
It's consistent, man. It's Star Wars. Anything can happen. Hey, look, she's chilling. Look, this is it's October on the calendar. She's leaning on that.
Finally replaced with an image of me.
But we've had that picture of Mando chilling out with a child. Now she's doing the same thing. Is Mando season 2 going to be a lot of lean? Oh my! I've not seen this one. Chewie got fat.
Chewie also grew horns.
So they're going to be back on Tatooine.
Too many movies.
Yeah,
It
they
looks
are
like
gonna- So this is the thing. I'm not really enthusiastic about them returning to Tatooine after the Gunslinger. I don't want it to be another nostalgia trip. If he's there, I want it to be for a story reason, because when they went there in season one, it just felt like everything was there just to be, as you said, like Diet Han. Everything was there for a reason, to be kind of nostalgic, and it didn't need to be.
That's one episode that ends with a really big thread to be pulled on, which is the sniper. And who picked her up? We don't know. I think it's Boba. There we go.
Yes,
Tatooine's going to play a big part. I think Tatooine's going to be a big part in this. Goes back to us again. Cool.
It is indeed. Yes, we are back to...
I've just had a thought pop into my head, because
Go on.
obviously we know Mando needs to find a home for the child, and people think that he's going to end up meeting Luke. So maybe he's trying to find Luke, so he goes to where he was, like, grew up, to go back to Tatooine to potentially find, like,
I'm saying Boba.
to try and
I'm
find
saying
Luke.
Boba.
And
No,
yeah,
Boba.
and then when on Tatooine trying to find Luke, he bumps into Boba. This is a thought that literally just popped into my head. It's probably
well, that's the thing. So it's kind of an interesting point, because when they say to finding his people, I do hope it's Luke and the Jedi Academy. I don't want it to be
We do not need
Yoda's
to go to his
species
homeworld.
or
We do
Yoda's.
not need to know where they're from. We do not need to know their species name. I will give up on the Mandalorian if they do that.
No, I don't care what they do. I'm so ready for season 2. I'm so excited for it.
But if we find out details about, the home species of Yoda, like actually see his planet and the name and stuff, then no. You don't need to know that about Yoda.
I'd like to know. It's the whole it's from 40K, so Phill get it. It's the whole Deathwing thing. Like, it's to that point now where it's like, I'm fed up with the secrets, just tell me. I just give me some world building. That's all I want. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be great. Phill sat with me and watched a couple of episodes of Mandalorian, and I genuinely melt whenever the child's on screen as well. I don't care what they do, as long as I get to go like that, I'm gonna be happy. And it's gonna deliver. It's gonna deliver, man. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna deliver. I don't know that.
When the child just grabs the Darksaber out of Gideon's hand and the child is the Darksaber.
I mean, that would be kind of cool. But it's the other thing I want is, I do want more story development. Like when we watched the last season 1, great season, great opener. However, it did feel like by the time you got to episode 6, like they'd been going kind of like, there was no substance. There was no big bad overall. There was no kind of threads kind of leaning to one area. It was just a case of we keep having to run away and then go back. That was about it.
I've given it a lot of thought. I say a lot of thought. I've given it some thought, and the rest of the time I think about something else. But I see Mando season 1 like wrapping a present. Okay, so you put your box down. That's your Mandalorian, and then you bring in the 4 sides of the wrapping paper, which are those middle episodes, and then you tie it all up at the end with a big bow. And I think when I think of Mandalorian season 1 like that, I'm like, yeah, it's just like wrapping a box up. You got your 4 separate bits, but they all tie up quite nicely at the end, and you've established the characters were given a really good time to breathe and be their own and be introduced. You had some hijinks on the way. There's only one episode that I feel was meh, but if what we've seen from those images, we come back to that in season 2, that might make that episode not so meh anymore.
Yeah, I mean, my point with that is, as long as they have a good reason for going there, I am perfectly fine with it. As long as they have reason, as long as there is story, not just for nostalgia's sake, not just because there was too much nostalgia in that one episode. And don't get me wrong, we are Star Wars fans at the end of the day, both at different levels, of course, but we all have that same nostalgic feel when we see the cantina, when we see the binary sunset, when we see things on that, we get that nostalgic pull back to episode 4. And it was cool, yes, to have the Sand People and things, but it didn't need to. It felt almost too much of that nostalgia with not enough story.
Conversation. I just like they had a conversation with the sound person, and it's just like, you're on that land.
That was cool. I didn't like it the first time I watched it, funny enough, but the second time afterwards, and every time I see it there on afterwards, yeah, I loved it. It was the first time I was a bit like, this isn't needed, and afterwards, actually, you know what? No, I like this. I like more world
Yeah, but
building more into it.
it also adds to the Tusken Raiders, often portrayed as just like brutes who just want to kill everything, when they're actually not. They're like very tribal people. So like if you get on their territory, it's essentially like the old man saying, "Get off my lawn," except they kill you. But
Yeah,
I feel
they just take your mum.
That episode had, I think, everything with Moff Gideon in the last episode. Spoilers. Everything with Moff Gideon and the Death Troopers in the last episode was such a massive explosive thing that it completely eclipsed the other big lead in that season, which is the sniper.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is
who went back and got Nina Wen's character.
Who went back to pick her up?
Fennec Shand.
Yeah, Fennec Shand. Yeah. Yes, exactly. There is that question. Of course, with Dave Filoni, because he did direct that episode, he's placing story threads to the future. And with Dave Filoni, a lot of the time, he will get a storyline. He'll give you a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and then pay it off down the line when he knows he's got a certain amount of story time to play with. So this could very much be one of those, but I think you'll only find that out by the time you get to the end. And by the time you get to that end point, that first episode, the Gunslinger, could be a lot more appreciated. I still don't like Diet Han putting his feet up on the canteen and being... That was a little... I'm not the biggest Han fan in the world. I know, Matt, you are a much bigger Han fan than I am. And even I found that a little like, you know what, you don't... there are certain things you don't do.
Mate, even I sat there and I was like, oh, you're in the same booth with the same boots and the same attitude. You even got your feet on the table. And as a diehard Han fan, I was like, there's one. Don't give us a second one. Like, we don't need more Corellians running around right now.
Yeah, but clearly, this guy was a massive fanboy for Han, and he wanted to copy him. He was just rubbish.
But they didn't even touch on that. Is that like in a book or a comic book or an audio book? Oh, it's just like assumed knowledge. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Maybe I didn't see it like that. I saw it as a cop out. I like droids.
We've had it with other characters. Don't forget, Rey knows Han as a smuggler, whereas Finn knows him as the rebellion general. Now, both of them have heard different stories. Both of them know who he is. Now, this is, but it's just that little bit too much on the nose. I liked the fact that droids were running it compared to when they were in episode 4. It's a case of, we don't serve your kind here. And especially that Mark Hamill was voicing it as well. Like, yes, like the fact that Luke said that, I was like, I'm totally down with that. But
also, that was actually the same droid from Jabba's palace, wasn't it? That was EV-99, yeah.
I think it's either the same droid or it's I don't know it's the same make, but I don't know if it's the exact same.
I think on Gallery they said it was EV-99. I can't remember.
It's cool, man. I think it's going to be good no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, Entertainment Weekly put out an article today, and we've all had a quick little look through it. It came out a little close to our show, which we had a chance to fully digest what was inside it. But having a quick read through it, it's kind of interesting. The one thing I want to pick up for sure is a lot of rumors have been going around, like for Rosario Dawson to appear as Ahsoka Tano, Tamora Morrison to come up as like Jango Fett or Rex. Potentially even Katie Sackhoff to reprise her role as Bo-Katan. And you also have a couple other rumors as well. I think it's Michael Bian and Timothy Oliphant who've had kind of rumors. And Gina Carano does confirm in her interview that some of them are true, some of them are not true. And I'm wondering who you think... Matt, I know you're going to say Boba, obviously. And before you say that, I'm going to just go, apart from Boba, who do you think the rumors will be true for?
I like that you told me off then with like, apart from Boba.
I know what you're going to say.
I think Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. There was an episode of Kevin Smith's Fat Man on Batman. Or was it Fat Man on Batman? No, it was like Sci-Fi did a this or that thing. They went, pick one or the other. And it was Ahsoka or Rey. And he chose Ahsoka and was just like, even he said back then when that was filmed a few months ago, he was just like, Ahsoka, she's a fan favorite, get Rosario Dawson to play her. So, and like, he's kind of a big deal. So I think Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka.
Yeah. Okay. Robin.
Yeah, it would also, I agree. Because it would also make sense. Like, he could just like bump into her at some point and she can like deal with the child and stuff with like all the force it can do.
Yeah, I mean, also
Or
Rosario
maybe
Dawson.
he gets the lead to find like a Force sensitive, and it's Ahsoka.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's no
else.
secret on this show that we're all Marvel fans. We've all watched the Netflix Marvel shows to an extent. Rosario Dawson, of course, played was it Night Nurse in that one? She played Claire. Yeah, she did a fantastic job in that series. Of course, she's been around to done a bunch of the shows as well. But that's what mainly she is. But that's mainly where I know her from. I haven't seen a huge body of her work, but even from my limited knowledge of her, I still think she could do the job really well. Ashley Eckstein will always be Ahsoka to me because of the Clone Wars, because of Rebels, because of the involvement she's had with the character over the years. But at the same time, it's always interesting to see someone new take on the role. I mean, as long as there's always voices.
Has it in the face, dude, as well.
She does.
Like she looks
yeah.
like Ahsoka.
She does, which is why I'm definitely okay with it. It's just more of an interesting point if I do actually agree with the pair of you that I think she could be the most, out of the rumored ones, I do think she's the most solid. I also think Tamara Morrison, but I do almost think Captain Rex over Boba Fett.
Or both.
It could be both. I mean, they are clones.
Yeah.
Just imagine Boba meeting Rex. Because
Spider-Man, isn't it?
someone who has the face of his dad.
This is true, although they'd have to age up Tamara Morrison quite a bit for Rex, and probably keeping the same for Boba.
Wouldn't, actually. Because
then de-age him for Boba then, because don't forget Boba doesn't age like
no, they'd actually have to de-age him for Boba.
Yeah,
because if you look at Tamara Morrison now, he's probably around about the age. Actually, probably.
How long after Jedi is Mandalorian?
It is 6 years.
Yeah, because it's 6 years after Return of the Jedi, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that Rex on Endor?
Yes.
The big white beard. Who looks nothing like Tamara Morrison.
That's
because it's called a retcon.
But if that
There he is. There's Rex.
Yep. Oh, I think we may have lost Matt.
Oh dear.
And it's quite funny because that's the pose we've lost him on.
He's very shocked at Rex's appearance.
He is very shocked at Rex's appearance. We shall try and rectify that as soon as possible. In the meet. Oh.
We appear to be experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Yeah, I don't really have a sign for that. Hang on a second. Do I have
I need to make one.
I need to have a standby. Just do this, but there's a technical difficulty loading screen.
Okay,
Okay,
whilst frozen.
Yes, whilst we wait for Matt to return, we have actually both discussed this at an awful length. The fact that Captain Rex could return, and I'd be more than happy for him to do so.
And if Ahsoka's coming back, it would make sense she's with Rex, considering their relationship. Like she might have had to go to him. Like so, Mando could meet Ahsoka. Like, I need your help with this Force kid, and then she's like, right, okay, we need to go get help. She goes find Rex. And then Matt listens to you. They seem to have a map back. Oh God, we got two. That was so weird.
There we go. Right.
Hang on.
This is our spare backup map now.
Yeah.
My laptop is not the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy. Okay, I'm alive. Hi, guys.
There we go. Cracking.
Sorry about that. My laptop apparently just threw itself off a bridge.
Watch it back. You'll see what you froze on, and it's quite the most surprising expression when we're talking about good old Captain Rex here.
Very surprised to see Rex.
Hey, there he is. Right, look.
Exactly. So this thing, he could quasi turn up. I also think at the same time, though, if Ahsoka turns up, you could also potentially have Sabine with her as well, and that could be very easily still played by Tia Sakar. Yeah. So I would not be at all
more Mando's the better.
I dropped out when we were talking about Tamara having to age to be Boba.
Yeah.
No, he has to be
age to Rex,
because he's about the right age to play Rex. They'd have to de-age him,
right?
Play Boba,
unless they put him in heavy prosthetics, man, because the Sarlacc stomach acid messed up his face.
I mean, he had his helmet on, so his face.
Helmet came off. Face looks like Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting now, seeing a two-faced Boba.
I mean, it's another Vader moment, which is like, no, put it back on.
Yeah, maybe. And to be honest, if he's playing Boba, he doesn't really need to be the face because he could just be wearing the bucket.
Yeah, he could well be. But again, that's a retcon and a half in terms of Aftermath. That's a discussion that we would if that happens, it's a discussion we are having on this show for damn sure, because I know Matt will just rip me apart, and that's fine, because that's what happens here at Star Wars. If you've got an opinion, have it, share it, and discuss it. There's no bad opinion.
And remind everyone else that they're wrong.
Well, no, you basically, those two will remind me that I'm wrong most of the time. That's just how this is going to work. I mean, they've been my friends, but...
I mean, it's usually me pointing out you were wrong. But...
Truth.
I mean, collectively, I've known you both for over 30 years. It's kind of at this point, I expect nothing less of you.
And you're only 15. It's quite impressive, really.
Oh, dear. They got quite a few grey hairs for a 15-year-old then. I'm getting
the Doctor Strange greys now.
Yep.
And the sides along here. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, so am I. It's, I think now we've lost Robin. All of the technical issues in the world. Oh, no, we do have Robin. That's absolutely fine. His face is frozen in a rather position. But it's all good.
On my end.
Good.
What is going on with the internet today?
It might just be my phone hating me. But...
It might be. Indeed. But yeah, so the article went out today. Is that there's talking about the fact there's a couple of the cameos that will be true, a couple that won't be, but of course there are always flippant responses like that when it comes to cameos and things. You're never really going to know the answer until the answer.
They're all correct.
Yeah, I mean, before we move on to the other topics we want to talk about tonight, so our Disney Plus shows, is there anything else you guys want to talk about that you maybe are excited for season 2, or what you want to get out of season 2?
Yes, one of the directors is Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Like that, that is exciting.
Ooh. Hold on. Oh, I've literally just thought of something that's probably got nothing to do with anything. But he did Sin City, which had Rosario. Yeah, but Rosario Dawson was in Sin City that he directed.
She was. Yep. She was, and directors like to use the same actors. Look at Christopher Nolan and Cillian Murphy.
Although, to be fair, with Ahsoka, that probably not has anything to do with Robert Rodriguez casting her, but he might be directing her.
Yeah, which would be really exciting, man. That'd be exciting. I'd be down for that
because I remembered films. So,
indeed, we are full of useless trivia like that, and happened for many years. But yes, no, I'm very much looking forward to season 2. I think he's just about.
I think he's gone.
I think he is. But yeah, Matt, anything else you're excited for season 2 at all?
Dude, I'm just excited. Like, season 1 was so good. The hype, we've spoken about it, so I probably mentioned it on Star Wars before as well. I'm not overly excited for the High Republic stuff. Just Mando season 2. There's nothing I particularly want to go out of my way to see. There's nothing I'm sat going, I need to see this, because that's going to set an expectation that may not be fulfilled. I'm just excited to see the Mando and the child and just see the crew back together again.
The one thing I would like is at least an explanation.
Bill Burr's coming back as well, isn't he? I think I read somewhere he's back. So he was a good character with his little shoulder gun and stuff. He was a badass. So
the one thing I would like them to explain at some point is just the whole this is the way with the helmet thing. Because of course we've had Mandos take their helmets off, and so much this just
it's probably a clan thing.
He's back.
And I would that's what I've been saying, but I would like them just to have a little throwaway line that just confirms it to be like done.
I mean, I could see them if they do bring Boba back, that being a thing. Well, like him taking his helmet off and Mando saying, "Why are you taking your helmet off?" That's not a Mandalorian thing.
But he's not a Mandalorian. But that's not the point. It's more the fact, though. Don't forget, they've still got the flashbacks.
That's why Bo-Katan's coming back to do that. Then
she could be. But more the point, they have the flashbacks of him. They could continue those of his upbringing from Clone Wars.
I mean, I could see why Bo-Katan comes back.
I want to see more of the armorer.
Yes.
She was really cool, and she had like the owl kind of lid. I'd like to see more of her. She was cool. She was really cool.
I have a feeling we will. I think she was kept alive for a reason. So
she was cool, man.
Indeed. So we are going to crack on to our next subject and talk about on the subject of the Mandalorian. Talk about Disney Plus shows that we want to see, and of course, Matt, I'm going to throw it to you first off.
Yes, mate.
Mainly because I need you to explain what the hell you mean by this one.
I know what he means.
It's Tag and Bink.
Yes.
Do you not know Tag and Bink?
Not very well.
When I saw you play it earlier, I knew that was Tag and Bink.
So Tag and Bink was a comic book series published by Dark Horse. And it's all licensed by Lucasfilm and everything. And these two guys were like rebel troopers who went and dressed up as stormtroopers. And basically the comic books, Tag and Bink are dead and Tag and Bink are dead too. It's like they're responsible for every significant moment in the sequel trilogy and the prequel trilogy, but from like blunders and capers. So they're kind of like Jay and Silent Bob in space. Like they go to try escape the Death Star after dressing up as stormtroopers like twice, but they tried to steal 2 TIE fighters, which gives Vader the idea to have 2 TIE fighters go out with him on the trench run. And they're canonical now because Ron Howard filmed Tag and Bink for a deleted scene in Solo, and in the novelization of Solo, they're in it. So they're canonical.
I thought it was Phill Lord and the Lord Miller that did the Tag and Bink stuff.
Yeah, it was published by Dark Horse.
Yeah,
way back when.
No,
it
was Ron Howard.
Chris Miller.
He posted a picture online before the film came out of them.
Yeah, and they're in the novelization for Solo. I think with Marvel doing What If on Disney Plus, I think having something like Tag and Bink, if it's animated, I don't care. They're canonical now, and I think it could be a really fun show.
It certainly has legs. Now that I know, because I don't know, I know the characters like a little bit, but I hadn't seen that panel before. I knew you'd tell me what it was when you brought it up, but
you have, because that's in Return of the Jedi. They go back to the Death Star, end up being disguised as royal guards, but they're the 2 you see next to the Emperor with the Luke and Emperor scene, and that's them.
Yeah,
as retcon to be them. You've got my Marvel Unlimited login. They're on there. Yep. I'm pretty sure they're on there. The Tag and Bink stuff.
I'll put them on my dream list.
And the guy who wrote them said that he's doing them for the sequel trilogy as well. He said in a Reddit AMA last year. Yeah. So they were meant to have died in the second Death Star, but they're going to be back. Just think it's a fun show, man. It'll be funny. And it's stuff, that they're responsible for everything big that happens through the films, but completely inadvertently.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, a Star Wars What If, a little kind of mixtape of Star Wars, kind of like I would love to see. I would love to see them kind of make light of, not take the Mickey out of Star Wars entirely, but do a little, as you said, the what ifs with things like just to kind of, bring a little bit of joy to it.
I mean, they've kind of done the comics with the Star Wars Infinites.
They have, but Tag and Bink, I think, is a really good way to revisit all the 9 films through fresh eyes. So, using like the screen for the Mandalorian and stuff, have these 2 guys that are doing something, but like Han and everyone runs past in the background. Because they're there.
Doing old TV shows where, like in the classic Star Trek episode,
they're there.
Where they just inserted the new characters into the old footage.
Exactly that.
And they're actually just in the background of the cantina.
Yeah, and they're there for every significant event they're present for. And it would just be super fun show, dude.
I bring you for Star Wars, Robin. You talk about Star Trek. How dare you get off my
Hey, I'll take you in Star Trek, so it's fine.
Hey, Picard was pretty good. Let's be honest. So that's my first pick for Disney Plus show. Would be Tag and Bink, just because it'd be fun and lighthearted.
The second one's the one I really want to talk to you about because the Star Troopers I absolutely love.
Okay, so a Star Trooper. Have you seen something like Altered Carbon? At all? Yeah, like something like that, like a real serious kind of gritty thing, but from the Empire's point of view. The first time I read about the Star Troopers, I remember messaging you, Phil, just being like, "Who are they?" Because they look really cool. So, like a crack Black Ops team. Like, what a story to tell! It'll be really from the Empire perspective. They look cool. There'll be a ton of merchandising opportunities.
Oh, yeah. The funny thing for me is I think the Scar Troopers were most likely influenced by the Bad Batch. The fact they couldn't do the Bad Batch, they went, okay, well, we can kind of bring them back, but in the Imperial way, bring them as these Scar Troopers, these crack troopers that can actually hit things. I can't remember the name of the sergeant we had. Of course, actually has a lightsaber, for crying out loud. They are amazing.
Yeah, dude, you got some takes on
Before I
Luke.
read the comics with them in, I generally thought they were the Bad Batch.
Yeah. And the funny
And then
thing is,
Randy was like, "Oh no, they're not the Bad Batch." But
and of course, now we are getting the Bad Batch cartoon because of the Bad Batch. Were one of my favorite things to come out of season 7. Despite I know they had mixed reviews from some people, but I've always liked that kind of. I've loved that way of looking at stuff when it comes to like how I play X. When I have played games of any nature, I like to run up and hit things, see what's left, and then kind of do it all over again. Scar Troopers and the Bad Batch do that kind of way of looking at things through many different eyes, but for the same objective. So with the Bad Batch, for example, you have Wrecker, you have Crosshair, you have Hunter, who go, okay, look, the analytical way is we need to get from A to B. A to B involves us going through here.
For a second, you sounded like you were talking about late 90s gladiators. I thought maybe you had Wrecker, you had Wolf, you had Jet.
you had Hunter.
I mean, 2 of those are actually clones. But it's
Wrecker, on my first whistle, are you ready? Ahsoka, on my second whistle.
And they just have those weird stick things.
The giant cotton
Retcom. My second pick for Disney Plus is Star Wars Gladiators.
I just want to see a lot of clones just trying to go up the Travelator.
That's the thing. So you get from A to B. Wrecker would go, we get to B through just by smashing things up. You'd have the analytical way of.
And then you have Tech trying to figure out a way as well.
Exactly. So you have the different ways of looking at how to achieve the same objective until Wrecker goes, I find it to blow stuff up. I love my job kind of thing. With Scar
you can blow it up going, I can blow it up.
So if anyone who hasn't read the Star Wars comics, imagine the Bad Batch, but done as Imperials. But the different twist, they do have a much more serious demeanor about them. They really do.
And just for a story perspective, because each one very much has its own personality. You could do ensemble series are like really good at the moment. Like the Umbrella Academy is great, The Boys is great, Doom Patrol is fantastic, and they've all got a different personality, and it's compelling to watch. So yeah, Scar Troopers second pick.
Yeah, and of course your third and final pick being Mr. Dexter Jester himself. Take us
right.
This one.
Can I explain this? I should explain this one.
Well, you're gonna have to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. No, I just want everyone to think I want a Dex series. My very favorite episode of The Simpsons is 21 short films about Springfield, which is obviously ripped off of Pulp Fiction. And it's all the little short. You've seen it, like all the little short stories. You must have seen that Simpsons episode.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So something like that, but like Dex storytelling.
Yeah.
I'd really like.
It's almost, you can kind of think it. What's I can't remember the character's name from Ant-Man, who tells the story.
Oh,
Luis. Yeah.
Oh my god! If you can get him to voice Dexter, that would be amazing.
I mean, Dexter has his own proper voice, but it's more the point of imagine that style of storytelling, but done for Star Wars.
Yeah, but it'd be like Dex, done from the point of view of people in his.
Yeah, like someone walks in
diner.
The cantina. Yeah, someone walks in the diner and he says like, I know a story about them, and then the screen goes all wibbly and he starts narrating.
It would be a really good. You could bring Maz into that. You could tell Obi-Wan stories through that, because when he's like Obi-Wan and hugs him,
yeah, find out how they met.
Yeah,
exactly, and it'd be a really good platform just to tell like one-off stories from Dex's position. He runs his
nice
diner.
I don't know how he knows about the Kaminoans, because he goes,
exactly,
the Kaminoans. He knows it from somewhere.
He is a very interesting character in Attack of the Clones that you don't really find a lot else out about.
Yeah, he is life before he retired and decided to open up a diner on Coruscant.
Yeah, he was Maz before Maz was Maz.
I mean, he probably got half the stuff from Maz anyway.
Yeah, exactly. They're probably friends, which I want to know. I want this like Star Wars 21 stories about Star Wars from the point of view of some greasy burger cook from Coruscant.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, one of my favorite characters from the Clone Wars is, of course, Pon Krell, who is also, Robin, remind the species name. Basilisk. Basilisk, instead of Basilisk. Basilisk. Yeah, Pon Krell is one of my favorite characters because, of course, he sees through the lies of the Jedi and goes, cool, I'm just going to play the clones against each other. I'm going to make sure that the war ends how it's supposed to be, and I will dedicate myself to the eventual winner. Yeah, he's a very complex character.
Have Dex telling stories about Watto.
That would be kind of cool.
Because
Yeah.
they probably met at some point.
Maybe the Hutt Cartel, maybe the Pikes. There is a lot of scope for that, and I do like that kind of look at the gritty underworld. We never got Star Wars 1313.
It's such a good. He's a great figurehead to tell these stories because you develop his character.
Yeah.
No one's asked for his character to ever be developed ever. No one's going, I want a Black Series Dex. But at the same time, what a good way to develop that. And he's a really good role. Like a diner in Coruscant that Obi-Wan visitors. A diner in Coruscant that Obi-Wan visits to get information is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And I think I just think there'd be some really cool stories you could play and just one-shot stuff. It wouldn't have to connect. Let me tell you the story about Watto.
If they do that, I would love it to have one of the little side characters walking in and out the bar is the one that is the one that tries to sell Obi-Wan death sticks, and you could have
Elan Sleaze Banana.
Yeah, but you could have him right at the beginning being that sleazy, and at the end of it, like having completely changed his life. You don't know anything about it. You just literally see him walking out of two different ways.
It would effectively almost be How I Met Your Mother, but with Dex. It'd be like How I Met Your Jedi or whatever.
Now listen, kids. This is the story of How I Met Your Jedi.
It was 41 BBY, and Obi-Wan came into my diner.
No, but here's the thing. It can start with a young Anakin. You can be telling it all to young Anakin.
Why not? Like, How I Met Your Master, whatever. From that kind of perspective.
How I Met Your Master.
I heard How You Met Your Master is a completely different series about what you get up to in your own time. It's
That was way dirtier than I meant it to be.
I heard the car. Phill
you get what I mean, though. That kind of series.
Exactly.
There could be an overarching story, but what a great chance to tell short stories. Let me tell you how I met Watto. Let me tell you about this girl Maz.
Yeah. I mean, Maz Kanata is one of those things. I haven't included her in my list, and I know Robin has included it in his, but I would love it. I think Maz I'd like to see as a comic book series more, though, than a Disney Plus show. This is why I haven't included her, but
why not?
Maz was going to be my list, but I decided Dex instead, just because I just like the idea of this, greasy fry cook in Coruscant knowing stuff.
So to wrap your three up before we move on to Robin, I think I love the idea of all three. I think Tank and Bink, animated. I think Star Troopers live action, and I think Dex maybe animated. But I would happy with
a bit of both.
Yeah,
I think Dex could be a really good mixed media project. So you could have some animated episodes, some CGI, some live action.
Yeah,
the potential
depending on the era that it's set. If it's set during the prequels, have it animated. If it's set during the original trilogy, have it
full-on props, and then mix the sequels.
And then for the sequel trilogy, you could have it CGI. So you could split the animation styles between each era. I think it could be quite cool.
You could. But I definitely think, though, Star Troopers is the one thing I'd want to have live action. That goes back to my absolute desperation for them to do clone suits in proper live action, actually proper suits compared to those crappy CGI we got in Attack of the Clones. But,
as a quick sidebar from what you said, that Hot Toys Ahsoka, where they've reimagined her as for realsies, the Anakin we discussed last time. She's lovely. She's really nice.
I am putting aside the money for Rex. I need to still make sure I've got that slot confirmed, but I'm making I haven't done this in a long time. I've gone right. I want something a year in advance. I'm going to make sure because I really want Rex. He is so nice. We have covered on the show. If you haven't, go back and watch one of our previous episodes. I think it's in our first episode. I think we talked about that.
I think it is. Yeah,
I think so. But Robin, I'm going to throw it over to you because you were very, very vague when it came to what I asked you.
Yeah, we'll talk about this one. So, one of my it's very vague because I haven't got a proper theory, an idea about it. But basically, a series that just follows on the boots, on the ground troopers, stormtroopers.
Sorry, I just like that you asked Phill to find you a picture of many different stormtroopers, and you just found the same one 20 times. You cheaped out on that Google search, man. You've done Robin a disservice.
I was the one.
Exactly. I asked him to give me pictures, so I was too busy getting everything else sorted. I asked, you had one job.
All I saw in the pre-show chat was just get me a picture of like a variety of troopers, and this is what you bring.
No, the Rebel Troopers from earlier was my other one.
If I have a barbecue, are you going to be the guy that brings a fruit salad?
No, I'm just going to bring the fruit.
A single Satsuma. Yeah, bring a variety, Robin. Here's a basket of apples.
Oh, the man to bring the bad beer just to drink the good beer. That's exactly what it would be.
Yeah, because it's just like I know you haven't read it, Phil, even though I got it years ago. The book Battlefront Twilight Company.
Yep.
It's a really good book.
I picked it up in Waterstones once, if that helps, but I put it back down again.
No, it doesn't help because you don't know what the story is. It basically
No,
follows like I really like that book because it follows like rebel troopers, and like it's like basically telling like the Civil War from just a grunt's perspective, and I quite like that. So like I'd like a series like that, but not just following the rebels.
So
like
basically, take the failed plotline we had for Battlefront 2 of where you're supposed to follow the Empire and then really went to the rebels almost immediately, and actually follow the Empire, actually follow rebels, actually follow troops of all eras, including clones, because if you're going to do this, if you don't include live-action clone troopers, I will be disappointed.
I mean,
I'd be very interested in why you did.
That's what we had that in clone troopers.
So in our chat, there, you specified not droids.
Because they're droids. They have zero personality.
I like to think Matt Wood went, no. Episode 1 droids have no personality. Clone Wars droids are just mental.
Okay, they don't have enough personality. They're still droids. They don't really have much differentiation between them.
Did anyone pick Dr. Aphra?
Yes, I did.
There's some droids with personality, boy.
Oh, hell yeah. BT1 000.
They're not battle droids, though. I mean, it was a blacksmith, but that's not the point.
However, to link...
I want a battle droid series.
I mean, to be fair, I want a battle droid series as well. Also, I want Mr. Bones. That's a different thing. Yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. I could link the pair of yours with the Scar Troopers could be a crossover episode for that.
Yes. Or it could, like you could have the Scar Troopers, series, and there can be a backdoor pilot in that.
Yeah. Well, the picture that you showed could just be in the background. There you go. Can introduce them just in the background. I think. Have you ever seen the parody, Robin, of where they've done like cops but with stormtroopers on Tatooine? I think is it just called Troopers?
Basically, kind of have that, but serious.
Yeah. No, but I agree. I agree, dude. Seeing it from their point of view.
Yeah, because I like Twilight Company because it kind of tells it from the rebel side, and to an extent, Lost Stars as well. It does kind of see things. You see things from the Imperial side as well.
We have all had this discussion in the past, actually, or separately and together, of shows and storylines from the perspective of not only the Imperial citizens, those who what do they think of the Imperials? What do you think of their rule versus the Rebel Alliance versus the Freedom Fighters versus terrorists are? The fact you could have the Empire, all that. I mean, that's why I love Director Krennic so much, because his whole point is, I'm doing. Yes, I know this isn't exactly orthodox, but I'm doing this for the good of the Empire. Yeah, this is the good for the people.
Yeah, but a good example is I think it was War on Both Sides, the episode of Clone Wars, where you see Mina Bonteri. And that you find out about that particular war from the Separatist side. So kind of like that, but with the troops that are actually fighting in it, and what their thoughts are about it are.
I think there's something. Sorry, I think there's something to be said from seeing things from the perspective of the villains. So one of the early, let's bring it over to DC for a second, I guess. One of the early rumors for Suicide Squad, the first film, was that the bad guy in it was going to be Batman. And I got really excited about that because I was like, this is going to be the first time we see him from the other side. This is going to be good. So I think there's a certain merit in what your idea is, Robin. If these guys have always been seen as the bad guys, but what's life like through in the other shoes?
Actually,
I guess
believe in this because obviously, the galaxy doesn't know that Emperor Palpatine is an evil Sith Lord.
We have little hints here and there. Yeah, we have hints here and there. If you look at Wedge, if you look at Wedge, Dutch, and Hobby's arc from Rebels, if you look at, again, the few of the bits from Rebels, we look at the Imperial Citizens, so you get a few pieces here and there. Same with Clone Wars, you get that, what's life like for the citizens, but you don't get what it's like. Han was, in Solo, had this very short glimpse. And Mimban is one of those things of, I want them to do Mimban as either a comic book or either a TV show or a book series or something, because Mimban was this great opportunity to be expanded on what it was like to be a soldier for the Empire.
And that could be like an episode or two in this series. Like they can show like the Battle of Mimban and what the stormtroopers on there, like how they feel about it.
Yeah, and like, this gets me excited,
Robin. Like, the Grunt's just like meeting all these like big heroes, like Luke and Leia, and like Poe and that lot, and Vader. And
I would watch your series. I said before, I think it's the first episode we did. The whole Jedi thing doesn't interest me, but the people living their normal day-to-day life in the universe do. I'd watch Robin's series. Wait, he's that way.
Yeah, because
I'd watch his series.
Yeah, because it's like the Marvel comic that I can't remember what it's called now, but it's basically like just a regular dude just going about his life in the Marvel universe with all these superheroes zipping around, like that, but with grunts.
Or like damage control. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So just fighting more.
So you had that one. The next one I'll bring up, of course.
I mean,
of course,
that kind of links in with my previous one, where like she could be one of the characters in it, with, like her shock troops and stuff.
Yeah,
you need to buy those Cara Dune action figures, kids, because that's what's gonna make them produce more.
Really hard to get stuff right now.
Good, they should be.
No, they shouldn't.
These people are buying them.
Yeah, it's not me. So she could be a main character, like finding like her like shock troopers and stuff.
Yep.
Well, even the story about
trooper, but like
we know she's from Alderaan, which is like a massive thing. Like she's from Alderaan. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, Alderaan's one of those that's unexplored really in the Star Wars universe. Of this was a planet that was wiped from existence, and we know no one apart from Princess Leia, and now Cara Dune, who's from Alderaan.
The moment she said she was from Alderaan in The Mandalorian,
it wasn't even her. It was Gus Fring who said, because he said Cara Cynthia Dune of Alderaan. That's when we found out.
My mind blew. I was like, whoa, she's from the same planet as Leia. This is amazing, and that's why she has been. What interesting character.
In the books and comics, there have been other people, like there's the female pilot from the Leia miniseries, whose name escapes me right now. Evan.
Yes, I'm trying to remember the name.
Volane.
Alderana.
No, that's
coming from the He-Man school of naming things. It's Alderana from Alderaan.
Yes, obviously.
I mean,
yeah. So another one of my other series was one that we're probably going to get it eventually. Is wasn't actually that one, but we'll talk about that one. Yeah, Inquisitors, which is kind of similar to the one I just talked about, but we follow the Inquisitors, like where they were picked from.
Well, Vader and the Inquisitors is a show that I definitely would watch. I mean, it's explored a little bit in the Vader comics. It's explored a little bit in Rebels, but there's so much more to that backstory. Where, of course, in the Clone Wars, you see the fact the Emperor tries to get his hands on the holocron that has literally the list of all the Force sensitives in the galaxy.
Well, we know this, and we're now fairly certain it's because he was trying to build the Inquisitores.
Exactly.
But he couldn't get his hand on the kid. That's why he had to basically just corrupt Force users and Jedi.
Yeah. So to see how they then go about finding them. So one of the story arcs in Rebels is the Inquisitors hunting down a Ithorian who happens to be Force sensitive.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'd love to see like following the Inquisitors, like finding out where most of them came from. Like even if it just starts with like just a shot of Palpatine, that's kind of like a planning committee, like him just on his computer saying, "This is my plan."
His Facebook Messenger goes off. It's like ping. Oh, hey, what was it? Oh, it's Palp.
Yeah, going. Oh, Palpatine's creating this new group. Cool. Not quite like that, but like it just started with
Robin.
him, like,
out of those 4 Inquisitors, which would be the ones to reply with a GIF?
It would definitely be Seventh Sister.
You reckon?
It
In,
would-
in,
it
the,
would be.
in the Inquisitor and Palpatine group chat, the Seventh Sister would reply with a GIF.
Yes.
No, it'll be. Is it the eighth brother? No, the one on the left, eighth brother, I think would. Seventh sister would reply kind of like curtly. Fifth brother would just be like, okay, or
She
thumbs
has
up.
sass.
Would the one
She
with the
has
white head be the one that left Palp on red?
No, he's the main dude. He's the one that would be trying to get all the others in line.
It's like one,
right, this is
the
what we're
last
doing.
guy
Come on.
there would leave Palp on red. He'd be like, can't be bothered to reply right now.
So
That'd be fifth brother.
interesting comment from George, fair enough. Well, going to once the force. So Gina Carano's lost the plot on social media. So anti-mask, pro-Trump, COVID isn't real. So best not to see her come back after season 2. What are your thoughts on this? Because I actually have seen this. I
haven't. This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
It's a little worrying.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't care how controversial it is. Like, she could have lost the plot. End of the day, she's an actress doing a job. Like, for me, I can harbor views, and I'm not in the public eye, but you know, it doesn't affect my ability to do my job. She's a great character. Personal politics aside, like I spoke about this on Capers of Altor last week, actually, there's a plug there, where personal politics get brought into these characters a lot. We've got it currently with Justice League. John Boyega could be a really good discussion for another time, actually, with what he's doing with Ray Fisher.
Yeah.
Is another thing. To be honest, all I can think to that comment, is it George? Is it George?
Yeah,
George.
George, yeah.
To be honest, all I can think to that comment right now is the world is mental. Like, and the amount of people that disbelieve all of this in the States is incredible. And as long as she does a good job as Cara June, like, her personal politics aside, I'm not overly fussed. She's a really popular character. What she's saying is wrong. You know, wash your hands, wear a mask. You should. COVID is very real, and it's really hurting a lot of people. But it's an awful thing. But at the same time, you know, she's doing a job. She's portraying a character, and all because she harbors those beliefs, it's not going to be like Patrick Stewart in Picard, where it was a big Starfleet represented our government and Brexit. They're not going to suddenly put Cara June going, the Force isn't real, and I'm not wearing my anti-midichlorian mask or whatever. Yeah, I think there's a certain accountability and responsibility. The best example I can think is Henry Cavill in an interview said, I played Superman once, and that comes with a certain degree of responsibility. You know, people still see me as Superman, and he's this great figurehead of hope and whatnot. But she should really be more conscious of what she's saying. But at the same time, if that's her beliefs, I'm not one to sit here and go, stop believing in what you believe in. You know, she's prepared to die on that hill, so be it. It just doesn't affect the character, and it doesn't really affect her job, to be honest. It's just a little bit irresponsible to have that kind of opinion right now. But I walk down the street where I live, there's signs everywhere for 2-meter distancing, and someone's gone through and graffitied it's a hoax and everything, all of it. So people do believe that, regrettably. As long as she still plays the character well, I'm not going to let her personal opinions jade my opinion of her character, because her character is really cool. I think she's a really strong point of the Mandalorian, and I think to some degree you've got to start treating these things as two separate entities.
Yeah, I mean, it all works, but it's a very different point. But talking about people like, for example, Kevin Spacey, I loved a lot of the characters he's played over the years. Don't agree with what he's done personally. Doesn't change the fact I liked the films he was in.
I mean, that is very different.
It is, but it's what I mean, though. More to the point is, it doesn't stop me enjoying what I've watched. But it is a very much, I don't condone what the person has done or said in any way.
Same Bryan Singer.
Same with Joss Whedon. Hollywood's a horrible place right now. Like, it really is, and celebrities just using it to.
So moving.
Yeah, man.
Thoughts on the Boyega stuff.
You
that is
are
something that.
So right. You are so right. And him and Ray Fisher are about to smash Hollywood into the floor, like, properly.
That's something I was going to do as a completely separate episode for us to actually go through and talk through our own opinions.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
We are coming up to what we'll will be the end of the show. We're still going to talk about my shows. We've got a little bit of gaming news to talk about. We don't mind going over. That's not the point. But it's more the point that particular point of John Boyega and Ray Fisher and everything else, I think is too much for us to do with in a short 10-minute piece. But I do think it's worth discussing.
What I'd like to say about that bit with that episode is obviously I'm a big DC and Justice League guy. You guys are big Star Wars guys. And now we've got these two worlds meeting in the middle. And it's not so much controversial. I've got opinions on it, and I'm not sat here going they were treated correctly because they weren't. But I'd really like to deep dive and talk about that. And I think we should for the next episode. Really, genuinely.
But I would echo what I've just said of it. As much as Movie Dude, we want to talk about it, I don't think it's right for us to talk about it in a short 10-minute piece where we can't do it justice. Simple as that. We can't do it just in a short 10-minute piece. However, very interesting question. We will talk about it.
Movie Dude, just to mildly plug myself again, if you check out the last episode of Capers of Valtor, we do spend 10 to 20 minutes and we do touch on it very briefly, but I'll give you some idea before we talk about it on Star Laws about what we think. But yeah, obviously, Phil's got your shows to do. But yeah, can we? Yeah. I was going to say this to you after the show anyway. But if we can cover that, I'd be really keen to do it.
It actually was something I was going to put to the pair of you as well. So it's interesting to come up during the show. But you've heard it here first. We will talk about this, but we're going to take our time to formulate an actual proper discussion about it, not just do a small 10-minute. Deep dive where we can't do the subject justice enough, but trust us, we will talk about it in the future. A couple more comments are coming in. Again, Movie is saying that's fair and say he'll check it out. So appreciate it, dude. More work for you to come back and be a part of the conversation for sure. Because as much as we are all here to talk about Star Wars and love Star Wars, the world is also prevalent. We will have opinions, be it maybe they're right or wrong or left or right or however you want to look at it. But it's always worth discussing.
It's an important thing to talk about right now. But yeah, your TV series. Let's go.
I'm going to use being.
Hang on, I haven't said my third one.
Oh, sure.
You said Inquisitors. Didn't you?
You did. Yeah, Inquisitors, Kara, and
Kara was part
Troopers.
You said in your message various troopers, Cara Dune, and Inquisitors. That's literally what you put in our message. What's the third one then?
If this isn't a picture of Jabba the Hutt, I'm going to be very. Or
I haven't got a picture prepared.
Is it Gonk?
I mean, a Gonk could turn up. No, it's the one that everyone wants, and we're probably going to get as the Ahsoka and Sabine series.
That's in my list, so we'll get to that in a minute. Because literally, I'm kind of
Gonk
I was hovering over it. But I was going to use being politically flexible to talk about everybody's favorite weekly, Hondo Anaka. Because
can Gonk be in that?
Yes, a Gonk droid can be in that for damn sure. Especially he's in Realms anyway.
Gonk's turn up in everything. It's fine.
To be fair, he is the payload specialist where my beloved Shadowcaster first appears. So, funny enough, yes, I'm all for power droids. But yes, Hondo Anaka. My friends, as long as Jim Cummings does the voice, I want an animated Hondo series where he does absolutely everything from the prequels all the way through to the sequels. We know he's in, of course,
I love him, dude.
You know Galaxy Heroes with Batu. You know he's in the sequel era. You know he's in prequel era for Clone Wars. He's in everywhere, few and far between. I want to see the fall of his pirate empire and how he builds himself back up. I want to see him fly around his pimp lander. That thing is amazing. I want to see everything to do with Hondo because Hondo. In fact, he's out in Black Series now, and I haven't got him yet, but I will do.
It should be a live action series, and they should use the animatronic from Galaxy's Edge in it.
I'd watch that. I'd watch that. I would watch that.
Yeah,
it's very reminiscent of current X-Men run I'm reading, which is all based on basically pirates. So if it's pirates in space, sign me up now.
I mean, Hondo Anaka is one of those characters that hits a chord with you no matter what age you are. To be fair,
Phil, you really do need to read Pirate Price.
I do, but forgive me. You know what my reading pile is like, and also you know what's been going on in my personal life. So forgive me. I will get to it.
Phil forgot how to read.
Yeah, but reading that, you will then get an idea of what a series could be like.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows I love Hondo, but Hondo Anaka, I would love to see them do as a animated show. I think you could get away with doing more, but yes, you could do it as live action as long as Jim Cummings does the voice. Fine with that.
Phil, does your Hondo want to turn up in my Deck series to tell a story about Robin's Cara Dune?
We could totally do that. That could totally be a thing. But I think I am pretty sure that Hondo and Dex would have crossed each other's paths at some point in their lives.
And they were probably best friends. Like in Pirates of the Caribbean, he could be
Yeah.
like the Gibbs to Hondo's Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, until Hondo stabs him in the back at some point, because that's what Hondo does.
And that's how Dex meets Obi-Wan. That's how Dex meets Obi-Wan.
I am totally on board with this.
Pilot's written.
Yeah,
Pilot's written. We're done. Laters, guys. We're done.
Two other shows to talk about. Yeah, but yes.
Our work here is done.
Indeed. To be fair, so I'm then going to segue over to a kind of a joint series, which is more both the Ahsoka and Sabine, but the hunt for Thrawn and Ezra.
Oh, Brokeback Mountain, dude. That's rad.
It's more. I mean, as long as you get Pierce Brosnan to play, if it's live action, you got Pierce Brosnan to play Thrawn.
Please tell me you have that picture ready.
I do not, but I can bring it up. Hang on a second.
You need to get that picture, Phil.
Whilst I'm doing that, do you want to talk about briefly why this would be such a good show?
Because Ezra and Sabine are awesome. Ahsoka and Sabine are awesome.
That's a pretty good
Also,
summary to me.
Rebels was left on that cliffhanger. You're expecting they're going to pick it up at some point in some form of media. Also, if the rumors for Mando season 2 are true, that could be the backdoor pilot for it.
Yeah, truth.
So here we go. So I'm going to bring this up, and you will not be able to unsee what we can see. Dave and George, if they're watching, well, George watching, they will know exactly what we're banging on about here, because we talked about this a long time ago on One's the Force. It is a very much a once you see it, you cannot unsee it thing. So just loading up in the overlay now. Where is it in? So save pictures. Come on. And now we're up.
I like that it's in your saved pictures. That's
Well, I have to save it so I can then put it in the overlay. It's not exactly easy. I had to find it, then
Also,
save it.
you'll understand when you see the picture. By mistake.
Oh, they've literally modelled that on Pierce Brosnan. They've just coloured his face blue and given him a high collar.
Yep.
Right? That's not even a coincidence that someone's gone, this will do, put a filter over his face.
And now you know why we want Pierce Brosnan to be Thrawn.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know a lot about Thrawn, but I see Benedict Cumberbatch.
No, I mean,
Just the cheekbones.
I mean, to be fair, if you actually look at Lars Mikkelsen, who does the voice, paint him blue. You can literally just get Lars Mikkelsen to do it live action.
You could indeed.
Oh, what? The drummer from Metallica? That'd be amazing.
No, he wouldn't be able to keep time with the script. It would be fine.
No, it's Mads Mikkelsen's brother.
Thrawn, why are you so snary? This makes no sense.
Oh, Thrawn just sounds really tinny for this episode. Oh dear, he's having a bit of a...
The episode could be called Saint Anger.
He wasn't snared.
Oh,
He was instead. Right, so
dear.
a Thrawn series where he's played by Lars Ulrich. Excellent. Next one.
Don't worry, Robin, you won't understand that. Trust me, man. I
don't.
Yeah, it's on a completely different wavelength here, but yes, I'm totally down with that. But finally...
Yeah, boy.
Naturally.
Dr. Chelly Afra with DC
Who would you cast? Who would you cast as Afra?
Now, this is...
What's
I'm
her face,
not
mate?
quite...
Marina Bakarin.
Yeah.
Marina Bakarin.
That would be my first choice. If we go live action...
Or Sky from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, all that. I think Marina Bakarin would be really cool.
Yeah.
Like, really cool. She's awesome.
The other one potentially I would think of would be Pom Klementieff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one because she's, to be fair, she's actually the first Asian American lead in a Star Wars series. It doesn't really matter what the race is. It's more the point that the character is fantastically written. Dr. Afra,
yeah, she's great. She's a lot of fun.
Dr. Afra is, for those of you who haven't read Dr. Afra, basically think Indiana Jones in space. Han is kind of indie. This is full indie. She's an archaeologist.
Yeah,
kind of indie.
She's cool, man. Who would you get to voice her 3PO?
To be fair, I actually quite like the guy who does it for no,
Ray
we'll
Winston.
get into it.
Ray Winston.
No, so
No, he's not right for 000.
no.
All right, Afro, let's go murder some people.
You what?
Let's go crack some skulls.
So
You what, mate?
So
like as complete polar opposite to 3PO. Just give him like a really deep baritone voice.
No,
James Hetfield can voice in Phill. There you go.
I mean, I'm down with no, I would go with Sean Kennan, who voices him for the audio adaptation because he actually does a fantastic job.
See, I genuinely thought you were going to say Sean Connery. Then I was like, oh, actually.
I mean, that would be great.
Actually, if I was going to say I'd actually go with Sean Pertwee.
Triple Shiro. Sean, I love Sean Pertwee, dude. So yeah, I'm behind it.
Because it needs.
I mean, yeah, because basically a murderous Alfred. That'd be great.
Exactly.
My go-to cast on anything is usually Carl Urban or John Hamm. Anyway. So
no. Carl Urban, I want to appear as a villain in The Mandalorian at some point. I think he's perfectly suited to I mean, that more Judge Dredd kind of esque style.
I'd like to take this moment to get on my tiny hill that I'm prepared to die on. Second time I've said it tonight. It's lazy writing. I think Carl Urban is such a criminally underrated actor because you take Butcher from The Boys, Dredd, Bones in Star Trek, Aomer, and Scourge, and you're like, this is the same guy?
Yeah.
Like, all those characters are so different. I think Carl Urban
just escaped me. He also plays the villain in Priest, which also features
yes, he does, yeah,
and Ian McKellen, which I watched fairly recently.
He's just a different character every time, and I think him and James McAvoy are like two of the greatest actors working right now.
But bring it back to my point, I would go Sean Pertwee.
Carl Urban should play Afro.
Oh no, I mean, although Carl Urban in Dr. Afro, the show would be amazing, but I think for that, that one, live action. Give me live action BT1 000 every single day of the week. I would be happy as well. BT1 000. For anyone who hasn't seen any of our shows or doesn't know me at all, I like my murder droids. I was brought up on Robot Wars, for crying out loud. It's kind of in my nature. Fine enough, I don't like playing Separatists or playing against Separatists when it comes to X-Wing. That's another point entirely.
But all the droids are great.
So, but BT1 000. IG-11, IG-88, HK-47 from the old Republic series, droids like that, and Mr. Bones being the absolute pinnacle of the insanity murder droid list for me, because he's very much, for those of you who haven't read the Aftermath series, Temin, or Snap as you'll know him from the sequel trilogy, Temin Wexley has his own B-1 battle droid that he builds up to protect himself.
Does he? That's cool.
Yeah, called Mr. Bones.
Mr. Bones is awesome.
Robin, do you want to quickly talk about Mr. Bones whilst I bring up an image, because I can't not talk about Mr. Bones and not bring him up.
I didn't know anything about this, so enlighten me.
He's a B1 battle droid, so he's a bog standard battle droid, but he is insane and just likes to kill things. And there's a part in the book where this bunch of thugs attacks Temin, and Mr. Bones just goes crazy on them. And he's like,
Sweet.
"Oh yeah,
that's cool."
I mean, he's kind of like HK-47 in that he just wants to murder everything.
I mean, to be fair,
and there's a little bit where this B1 battle droid just annihilates this group of thugs, and one of them literally just says, "We just got beaten up by a B1 battle droid."
It's like we got beaten up by a battle droid.
Think of a battle droid, but awesome. Yeah,
I like how they just acknowledge the trash as well. It's fun.
Oh yeah, so just gonna.
That's cool. That's really fun. I like that.
So hang on a second.
Yeah, he's B1 battle droid.
Mr. Bones.
Yes, Mr. Bones.
I know I'm leaning in really close to the camera, but I'm trying to look at this on my phone as well.
Luckily, it's right in front of you, so no one can see you leaning in.
Oh, can they not? Sweet.
No.
That's cool. I don't like that it's a bit Darth Maul-y, but
no. But yeah,
he's got that kiss makeup going on in his face, hasn't he? He looks like Paul Stanley.
It's got a little bit Darth Maul meets Deadpool meets Murder Droid in a glorious way. And spoiler alert though for those of you who haven't finished reading the Aftermath trilogy, give you a couple of seconds because the way he dies is absolutely tragic.
Spoiler for me as well, everyone. vow of solidarity.
I've bought you 2 of them, and you were going to read the third.
Eventually.
If you read them, you'd know who we were talking about.
Phill, I got you Twilight Company like 4 bloody years ago.
Oh, don't even get me started on what people have bought me that I haven't read. That's a whole nother list. I'm terrible for it.
Phil and I have a legacy of him buying me things like that gun emplacement for Warhammer Fantasy that I now can't paint on principle because I've had it for the best part of 10 years. And when I moved house, I was like, I've still got it. It's like, it's still unpainted. And I was like, yeah, I know. I now can't paint it out of principle. So it's a pride thing now.
And the funny thing is, that's actually now been out of print for a long time. You
Yes,
can't
yes, it
get
has.
for love nor money.
The game doesn't even exist anymore. That scenery outlived the game, right?
Exactly. Speaking of games, quickly want to just touch upon a little bit of news that we've had, which is the release date and other bits and pieces for the Star Wars Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga Deluxe Edition. Full on.
Sorry, I forgot about the exclusive minifigure in it.
Oh yeah, Luke with blue milk. Yes.
Have you seen his little blue milk mustache?
Oh yes, it is quite funny. I will be getting it on Switch, and we're getting the deluxe version purely because you get the Mandalorian 1 and 2, you get Rogue One, Solo, and Bad Batch content.
It's honestly not something I'm excited for.
I mean, I love Lego.
I used to love the Lego games, but they're all exactly the same with a different skin over the top. And like, I've got Lego Superhero Marvel 2.
Yeah.
And I'll play it for maybe 10 minutes before I go, my brain's gone numb.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't mind me. It's a little bit of COVID. And you'll play it for a little bit. And Lego games don't get me excited anymore. It's probably really cool and it's probably going to be done really well, but I feel like every level's just going to be the same with a different skin on. So you guys are excited?
Going to do episode 8 in it.
Oh, I'm very excited for it. I want it for my Switch.
There's going to be a level where you milk blue milk, probably. No, there will be. It's a Lego game. You're going to milk blue milk out of a weird anteater looking thing.
Actually, that was green milk.
You're going to milk green milk out of an anteater looking thing.
Let's not go
And
into
it's called a
specifics.
Thessal Siren as well.
What is it called?
A Thessal Siren.
Okay, you're going to milk green milk out of a thistle siren. Yeah, man. Like, you're excited. Cool. I'm glad you're excited. Go play it. Have the time of your life playing that game, man.
I mean, we've got to
Me,
wait
I'm
till
just
spring
like,
next year, but
it's cool.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting. PS5. Give me that.
For this.
Give me
for
that.
Star Wars Squadrons. We've had a small amount of gameplay released for it, and I am very excited for this game.
If the Falcon's going to be junk in it, though, like in Battlefront 2, not going to be happy. Oh, look at that. I am going to be happy. Look at it. It's pretty.
Yeah.
But also, I am actually more excited about this because I've currently been reading Star Wars Shadowfall. And it does kind of link into this, actually. Because Vanguard Squadron in this is mentioned in it.
Robin, let's just cut to the chase. You're excited because Hera's in it.
Yes, and that. Which also the bit in the book I've got, they explain why Hera's in this game as well. But yes, it's got Hera in it, so I'm getting it.
Yeah, I mean, this is coming out next month. October 5th, I think it is.
So is this? I'm going to ask a dumb, stupid question. This is going to be PS4 because the PS5's not out till November time.
Yeah. It's the last kind of AAA title, as it were, for Star Wars. I think it's basically so EA can go, look, we made 4 games over the period of our license, when really they've made 3.5.
I don't know. I'm on the fence right now whether I buy a PS4 like this week or wait for the PS5.
Yeah.
PS5 is going to have Miles Morales, dude.
Also, PS5 is back compatible anyway, so you can play PS5.
Yeah.
And so partly,
point, you might as well buy a PS5.
So for me personally, I'm going to get a PS5 also because I've been getting the 4K steelbooks of all the Star Wars films as they've been coming out. They're all on pre-order and stuff, and I want my Star Wars 4K experience, which means I need a PS5.
Although we are like the price of the PS5 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, did you see? It's a complete side road now, but you see they released the price of the Xbox Digital is 250 quid.
Yeah. And that's why we're getting the price for the PS5 tomorrow.
So reasonable.
Exactly.
I heard that. I was like, whoa.
Definitely a conversation for another time. We'll talk about the one last bit of news, for the one bit of news that no one really wanted. The fact that Star Wars Journey to Batuu is coming for Sims 4. Basically, you play as though you're going to Galaxy's Edge. For those of you in the time that we cannot leave this country and go to Galaxy's Edge, you can now go to Galaxy's Edge and pretend you're there. So instead of feeling bad that you can't go there and spend your money, you can now spend fake money looking around it. I really don't like this.
Could we have not just instead talked about the Mos Eisley Lego set?
I mean, yeah.
That's considerably cooler than that is.
Yeah, I forgot to put that in the slideshow. I did everything else, damn it.
We're getting a Lego Garindin.
Yeah, that's cool, man. What a nice set. That's gonna be cool. I won't buy it, but it'll be cool.
Me neither, but it's cool.
Well, the price is insane, though. That's the problem. The price.
It's really cool. I won't buy it.
Huge. It's a big set.
It's smaller than the Falcon.
Well,
But it's probably got more playability than the Falcon has.
Yeah, this is a playset with more figures, whereas the Falcon was just a display piece.
True,
Yeah,
but to be
this
fair,
is-
though, Matt, if I turn around to you and go, do you want the UCS Falcon or do you want Lego Cantina? Which one are you getting?
It's going to be the Falcon because I build my
Exactly.
Legos and display them. I've got
Yeah.
the Lego Milano there on top of my dresser. I build them, I display them. I'm not going to sit there and play with it. But
Yeah.
Playability wise, the Mos Eisley is probably going to be a better value for money than building something, taking a step back and going, my work is complete.
I mean, you can still do that with the Cantina and then play with it.
I wouldn't play with it. I'd lose bits constantly.
I know you. This is exactly what would happen. Yes, this is a theme throughout your life, Matt. But anyway, I think
True.
that is a very nice way to end the show here. We've been having practically on a little bit longer than intended. However, we always like chatting you off here on Star Wars. Before you go, anything else, guys? Before we end the show,
I'm not going to buy the Lego Mos Eisley Cantina. Robin, what about you?
No, I don't have the space for it, really.
Phil, what about you?
I definitely do not have the space for it. The lovely green screen behind me. Well, yeah, if you go back and watch our old shows, you can see what exactly is behind me.
We know what
there is
comes
definitely
back.
not the room. There is definitely.
So there we
not the
go.
room.
None of us are going to buy that Lego set. Let's all buy Hot Toys instead.
However,
Yeah.
it does look really cool. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Star Wars Podcast, at the Star Wars Pod. You can find Matt's other podcast, the
Capers of Valtor.
There we go. Link in the description down below. We'll be back, of course, in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully, we're going to start to have the audios of the show going out soon. I'm trying to work on all that myself. But until next time, we've been Star Wars. May the Force be with you. Good night.
Come, my allies. Observe